guys, to kick off the new year, we're making matzo ball soup. As you can see, I've already got my first set of ingredients ready, so let's get started. So to start with our celery, we're just going to chop off the ends and get them cleaned up a little bit. Okay, now that the celery is all cleaned up, I'm just going to run my knife across to make slices. And remember, you always want to keep your knife close to the board, never pick it up. And you want to try and stay in the same spot. Move the food, not the knife. Now I'm going to transfer my celery to my pot and work on my carrots next. So I've already washed my carrots. Now I'm going to cut off the ends before peeling. So I'm going to start at the fat end and work from the middle out, and then turn the carrot and again work from the middle out. And that's usually the easiest way to help prevent cuts. And of course you always want to be aware of where your fingers are, because yes, you can slice the tip of your finger off with a peeler. So my carrots are clean now. I'm going to start at the skinny end and slice. And then I'm going to split the fat end and continue slicing. So, I'm going to use my fingers on the sides here to steady both halves of the carrot. And I'm going to press my blade down the center to split. Roll it over onto the flat cut side. And continue slicing to the end. And my carrots will join my celery in the pot. Next up is my onion. And anyone who's watched one of my videos before knows how I do this. But if this is your first time joining us, it's pretty simple. You just cut off both ends, split down the middle, and then peel off not only the wrapper, but the first layer, because the first layer tends to look a lot like this, and this part never cooks properly. So you want to go ahead and take that off. So first I'm going to do fan cut, which is where I cut in from the outside towards the center of the onion. And once I do that, I'm going to turn the onion and cut along the cross section to make my dice. And I also have my stick of butter here. I need 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to line it up with the line on the side. Cut directly through the paper. So I've got my mirepoix, my 2 tablespoons of butter, and a decent amount of salt, all in my large soup pot. And I'm going to cover it and let it sweat at about 3 out of 10 on the heat scale while I prepare the rest of my soup ingredients. Okay, so our mirepoix is sweating. Next up, we need to think about seasoning for our broth. So I have here some cheesecloth. I'm going to go with the clean broth method by wrapping everything up into a bundle and removing the bundle later once it has flavored the broth. You could also just throw everything in there. Just be aware that your broth won't be as pretty. So I'm going to split my lemon. If you're just throwing things in, then zest the lemon first, and then split it and add the juice through a strainer. I have 2 bay leaves, a teaspoon of dried thyme, and a teaspoon of dried parsley. Okay, so wrap this up. There we go. Next up, we need to prep our chicken. Basically, just give it a quick rinse under some cold water and make sure that if it was packed with giblets or any other type of things, that those are not in the chicken when it goes into the pot. Okay, so this particular chicken did have some stuff inside. Of course, it's in a bag, so you just need to pull that out. And I'm just going to give this a quick rinse. And this particular bird still has the neck attached. However, I'm going to pull the entire chicken by hand anyway before serving the soup, so I'll just ignore that part when it comes to chicken pulling time. So, I'm going to transfer this into my soup pot and wash my hands. So I've got my chicken in. Now I'm going to add my bouquet garni, a teaspoon of minced garlic, which is the equivalent of about 2 cloves, lots of salt. Remember, you're seasoning an entire chicken here, plus all the water that you're adding to cover. A decent amount of pepper. Okay, so add enough water to cover everything. Replace the lid. And I'm going to raise this up to bring it to a boil. And once it's boiling, I'm going to turn it down and reduce it to a simmer for about an hour and a half. Okay, it looks like our chicken is done. I already removed the bouquet a little bit earlier. So I just need to remove my bird. Okay, and I'm going to throw this into the sink to start cooling down enough for me to handle. While the chicken cools, I'm going to whip up my matzo balls. So I have here 4 eggs. Remember to always crack your eggs on a flat surface, never on the edge of the bowl or the counter. Next up is 6 tablespoons of a light oil, like vegetable or canola oil. And we're going to whisk this together before adding our matzo meal. Okay, so you're going to add both packages of matzo to the egg and oil mixture and whisk to combine. Okay, once you've stirred out any lumps, then let it sit for 15 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and set up my pot broth. I have my largest, widest pot, which should accommodate all of my matzo balls at once, and 2 32-ounce containers of chicken broth. So you see here I have a bowl of water with a spoon, and I'm going to wet my hands using the bowl of water, as well as keep the spoon wet. And very lightly, I'm just going to roll this into a ball. But I don't want to press a whole lot. And drop. And about every 2 matzo balls or so, I want to make sure to re-wet my spoon and thoroughly wet my hands again. And if you ever roll one too small, you can always just add a little bit more and roll that into your ball to fix the size. So I just dropped my last matzo ball. As you can see, the ones that have been in a little while longer have already started puffing up around the bottom. These will take about half an hour to cook, but at about 18 minutes I'm going to take another look and see if any of them need to be flipped, because sometimes this top area here needs some time in the broth to cook fully. So I'm going to lid this back up and leave it alone. Next step is to pull my chicken. So I just want to grab any meat off and leave behind any skin, fat, or connective tissue that I can avoid. And a lot of this is just going to be feeling around with your fingers and pulling off anything that feels different. So anything that's extra squishy or a little bit slimier, or whatever, then that's probably fat and connective tissue. Okay, my matzo balls are done. I need to add the soup base to my prepared soup and add my chicken back. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be talking about how awesome this matzo ball soup is, but, you know, I'm a little busy cramming it into my face, so I guess that speaks for itself. It's very dangerous having this in front of me. It's literally my favorite soup. So if you want to make some of this deliciousness for yourself, you have to go pick up a box of this. It is Straight's gluten-free matzo ball and soup mix. I can find it at Publix seasonally around the major Jewish holidays. You may be able to find it online or at a store near you. You know, if you like matzo ball soup, then this should be making your mouth water. If you've never had it before, then, you know, you should definitely get on this ASAP. So, I'm going to go devour the rest of this bowl, because as you can see, I keep getting distracted by the fact that it's delicious and it's right in front of me, and I can't keep talking to the camera when it's here, distracting me from forming words into cohesive sentences. And yeah, so anyway, I'll see you guys next time on the Deglutenizer. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, watch my other videos, and donate to help launch my restaurant consultation service and eventually make the Deglutenizer the biggest name in gluten-free products and services.